but I'm just a rock chick.
I would describe my music and my sound as Avril.
It's the best damn thing.
Welcome back to another episode of the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast, a facts and trivia-based podcast about Canadian pop singer Avril Lavigne. I'm your host, Andrea DiFrancesco. In this edition of the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast, we discuss all of the songs Avril has covered by other artists. This includes songs she recorded in the studio as well as songs she's performed live in concert. So before we begin, I thought I would just give a little bit of background information on how I decided to organize the layout of this episode. I wasn't really sure of the best way to do it. I thought about doing it by songs that she performed live and then songs that she recorded in the studio, but I realized that that would be kind of tricky because there's songs that she's done both. She's performed them live as well as done studio recordings. And then I thought about doing them just by the songs themselves. Then ultimately I decided to do it by era. Just to me, that seemed like the best way to do it. Although there is going to be some overlapping because there's songs that she's covered across multiple eras. And there might also be some overlapping information between episodes. Like the last episode that we did was about non-album songs. So songs that she did for charity singles, movie soundtracks, and a lot of those are going to end up here as well. And then the next episode that I'm planning to do is about the times when she's performed with other artists. And so some of those are going to end up in that next episode as well. So there might be some repetition going on here, but I've tried to make it as least repetitive as possible. So hopefully I've organized this in a way that makes sense chronologically and that is interesting to listen to. So with that, we begin with the songs Avril covered before she was famous. Before Avril started penning her own songs, she used to perform songs by country artists around her hometown of Napanee. At age 10, she performed her first solo at a Christmas cantata in 1994, singing the traditional Christian hymn Near to the Heart of God. There is home video footage of this performance on YouTube. There is also rare video footage of Avril at age 11 performing the song Calendar Boy by Dee Dee Sharp, which was an answer song to Neil Sedaka's 1960 single Calendar Girl. There is also rare video footage of Avril at an unknown age performing the Canadian national anthem O Canada in her family's living room. There is no video footage, but there is an audio recording on YouTube of Avril singing Kiss Me by Sixpence None the Richer at the Quinte Spirit Festival in Napanee around age 14 or 15, as well as You Were Mine by The Chicks, formerly known as the Dixie Chicks, and No One Needs to Know by Shania Twain. There is some very brief video footage of Avril at age 14 performing Shania Twain's debut single What Made You Say That with Shania on her Come On Over tour after winning a contest in March 1999. On December 18, 1999, Avril performed at the CD release party for Stephen Mead's album The Quinte Spirit, which she was a performer on. Her future manager Cliff Fabry was in attendance and recorded video footage of Avril's set, which included No One Needs to Know as well as Adia by Sarah McLachlan, It Matters to Me by Faith Hill, Wide Open Spaces by The Chicks, and How Do I Live by Leanne Rimes. During this time, Avril would also record VHS tapes of herself singing, which she would send out to prospective record labels. This footage is readily available on YouTube. Some of the songs featured on these VHS tapes include the aforementioned Adia, Kiss Me, How Do I Live, and Wide Open Spaces. In one of these tapes, she also covered Breakfast at Tiffany's by Deep Blue Something, accompanying herself on acoustic guitar. She also covered Cher's 1989 song Does Anybody Ever Really Fall in Love Anymore, originally written by Bon Jovi, and accompanied herself on guitar. Next, we move on to the songs Avril covered in her professional career, starting with the Let Go era. Once Avril released her debut album Let Go in 2002, she began to include cover songs as part of her tour setlist or was asked to sing them for specific events or projects. At a show at the London Astoria on November 22, 2002, Avril did an impromptu cover of Chop Suey by System of a Down, though she did not really know the proper lyrics. The performance received negative reviews. In the last episode about her non-album songs, I talked about her 2003 cover of Bob Dylan's Knockin' on Heaven's Door, which she recorded for the compilation album Peace Songs to benefit War Child Canada. The studio version was also included on the soundtrack for the official Athens 2004 Olympics Games album Unity, the CD single for her 2004 single Nobody's Home, and the Japanese edition of her 2011 album Goodbye Lullaby. It was also included on the setlist for the Try to Shut Me Up tour in 2003, where she was accompanied by her guitarist Evan Taubenfeld on acoustic guitar. A live recording of the song was included on the audio CD from her My World live concert DVD. She also performed it at a concert for Oxygen in April 2003, the MTV Russia Music Awards in October 2003, and AOL Sessions in April 2004, and an acoustic show at the Roxy Theater in October 2007, accompanying herself on acoustic guitar and singing in a higher key. She explained in an interview with Terra Tata in 2007 that Knockin' on Heaven's Door was one of the first songs she learned to play on guitar. In 2003, Avril also included the 1994 song Basket Case by Green Day as part of the setlist for the Try to Shut Me Up tour. A live recording was included on both the My World live CD as well as a live EP called Try to Shut Me Up. In 2003, Avril was selected as a performer for the tribute concert MTV icon Metallica, which was taped on May 3rd and televised on May 6th. She performed their 1997 song Fuel and was the only female performer in the lineup, as well as the youngest at only 18 years old. Other performers included Sum 41, Limp Bizkit, Stained, Snoop Dogg, and Korn. In a 2003 interview with Blabbermouth.net, Avril said she freaked out when she was asked to participate in the tribute special. "I was like, they know who I am?" She said the toughest part of the song has been the screaming. "I had to learn to sing really harsh for it. They have a lot of screaming on that song. We've been practicing every day in soundcheck. We don't want to look bad in front of them." Her performance was praised by the band, despite Avril's fears about performing the song due to its low range. The live recording was included over behind-the-scenes footage from the rehearsal, as well as the performance itself on the My World DVD, as well as included on the live CD. As we discussed in the last episode, Avril also recorded a studio version of the classic Christmas song Oh Holy Night with Chantal Kreviazuk, which was released in 2003 on the compilation albums Maybe This Christmas Too and A Winter's Night, a Network Christmas album. Under My Skin era. In a 2004 taping for AOL Sessions in April, Avril performed a very brief acoustic cover of Sum 41's single Fat Lip from their 2001 album All Killer No Filler. In 2004, she performed Iris by the Goo Goo Dolls with the band's frontman Johnny Resnick for an event called Fashion Rocks, taped on September 8th at Radio City Music Hall in New York City and televised on September 26th. They performed the song together again at the Star 94 Jingle Jam on December 16th, 2013 in Atlanta, Georgia. As mentioned in the previous episode, Avril recorded a pop-punk version of the SpongeBob SquarePants theme song for the movie soundtrack, released in November 2004. She also included covers of Green Day's American Idiot and Blink-182's All the Small Things in the setlist of the Bones tour in 2005. She also played drums on a cover of Song 2 by Blur with opening act Butch Walker on vocals during this same tour. She revived the cover for the Avril Lavigne tour in 2014 with her musical director Steve Ferlazzo performing vocals. For the show in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on October 31st, 2004, Avril dressed as a Hooters waitress for Halloween and sang Hey Ya by Outkast as part of the encore, which was one of her favorite songs at that time. And in 2005, Avril performed Ironic by Alanis Morissette with her at a show at the House of Blues in West Hollywood on February 11th. There is an audio recording of the performance available on YouTube, but there is no video of the full performance. The only video clip that exists is a very brief portion of the performance that was included during an interview Avril did during that time. The Best Damn Thing era. Avril revived her cover of Blink-182's All the Small Things for a performance for the French program Terra Tata on June 4, 2007. On her decision to cover this song, she said, "I really love this band and I listened to them all through high school." And the drummer for Blink-182 is Travis Barker, and Travis Barker played drums on 4 songs on the new record. As mentioned in the previous episode about her non-album songs and charity singles, Avril recorded a cover of John Lennon's 1971 single Imagine for the compilation album Instant Karma, the Amnesty International campaign to save Darfur. The soundtrack was released on June 12, 2007 to benefit Amnesty International's global Make Some Noise project. For a performance at the BBC Radio 1 Live Lounge on July 6, 2007, Avril chose to cover The Scientist by Coldplay. On why she chose this song, she explained, "I really enjoy this band's music and it's just a pretty song. It's my first time singing it and it's so beautiful." The cover was also included on the compilation album Radio 1's Live Lounge Volume 2, released on October 22, 2007. Additionally, this same album includes a cover of Avril's song Girlfriend by the band The Pigeon Detectives. On November 28, 2007, Avril revived her cover of Adia by Sarah McLachlan when they chose to perform it together at a benefit concert in Montreal for Unite for Children, Unite Against AIDS. Sarah accompanied Avril on the piano. Avril also performed an acoustic rendition at a concert at the Roxy Theater in October 2007, which was then released as part of a live EP called Control Room, released on April 15, 2008. Additionally, Avril released an official studio recording of the cover on her MySpace page in 2008. On December 2, 2007, Avril gave a free performance in Burnaby, British Columbia for the grand opening of a new Best Buy store. She performed in a snowstorm and did an impromptu rendition of the classic Christmas tune Frosty the Snowman and encouraged the crowd to sing along. She also performed a short cover of Hey Mickey by Tony Basil, which she performed on the drums as part of the setlist for the Best Damn Tour in 2008. For select shows of the Best Damn Tour, Avril also performed In Too Deep by Sum 41 with her then husband and frontman of the band, Derek Whibley. Professionally recorded footage from the show in Nagoya, Japan was uploaded to Avril's official YouTube channel. She recorded a studio cover of Bad Reputation by Joan Jett, which was used as part of a video montage for the Best Damn Tour as well as the Black Star Tour in 2011. It was also featured as a bonus track on the deluxe edition of her 2011 album Goodbye Lullaby and the soundtrack for the 2012 anime film One Piece Film Z. She also performed it live during the Zepp Tour shows in Japan in August 2014. In July 2008, Avril appeared in a series of commercials for Kohl's department stores to promote her clothing line Abby Dawn, along with Plain White Tees, the Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, Vanessa Carlton, and Hayden Panettiere. Together, they performed a rendition of Love Revolution by Lenny Kravitz. Avril performed an impromptu karaoke cover of I Love Rock and Roll, originally recorded by the Arrows and popularized by Joan Jett, with the hair metal band Steel Panther during a concert at the Key Club in Hollywood on November 3, 2008, after the band encouraged her to join them on stage while drunk. She also performed it as part of the setlist for the Zepp Tour in Japan in 2014, along with Bad Reputation as an intro to her 2013 single Rock and Roll. Goodbye Lullaby era. As mentioned in the previous episode, Avril participated in a cover of Wavin' Flag by Kanon in 2010 to aid relief efforts following the earthquake in Haiti. In 2011, Avril performed Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar with her during the Oprah Winfrey Show special Rock Goddesses of the 70s and 80s, aired on April 13, 2011 as part of the show's 25th season. The episode featured female rock legends such as Benatar, Joan Jett, Stevie Nicks, and the hip-hop group Salt and Peppa performing their hits with current acts such as Avril, Miley Cyrus, and Sheryl Crow. At the end of the episode, all the guests came out to sing We Are Family by Sister Sledge. More information on this performance will be included in a future episode where I'll discuss Avril's performances with other artists. For a performance on the French TV program Terra Tata on February 8, 2011, Avril sang an acoustic rendition of TikTok by Kesha, which she said she had learned specifically for the show and that it was her first time performing it live. She also performed it for the BBC Radio 1 Live Lounge on March 8th. The recording was featured on the compilation album Radio 1's Live Lounge, Volume 6, released on October 31, 2011. Avril sang the chorus of Airplanes by B.O.B. featuring Hayley Williams as the intro for her 2004 single My Happy Ending during the Black Star Tour in 2011 and 2012. She also included a cover of Fix You by Coldplay. For the last show of the Black Star Tour on February 18, 2012 in Malaysia, Avril did a surprise cover of Pumped Up Kicks by Foster the People, where she had her band members switch instruments. Avril played acoustic guitar while her guitarist Jim McGorman did vocals. Additionally, her keyboardist Steve Ferlazzo played bass, her bassist Al Berry did drums, and her rhythm guitarist Steve Fakit did keys. Avril Lavigne era. As mentioned in the previous episode, Avril recorded a cover of Nickelback's How You Remind Me for the One Piece Film Z soundtrack in 2012. It was also included as a bonus track on the expanded edition and Japanese edition of her 2013 album Avril Lavigne. She performed a brief a cappella rendition of the song Creep by Radiohead at the Avril Lavigne album release party on November 5, 2013 at the Finale nightclub in New York City. Footage from the event was released as part of a webisode for Avril TV on her YouTube channel. She also included an interpolation of The Beautiful People by Marilyn Manson as part of the song Bad Girl during live performances on the Avril Lavigne tour in 2014. Head Above Water era. Avril joined Nickelback on stage at their show at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles on September 8, 2017 to perform their 2006 hit Rockstar. Frontman Chad Kroeger told a story prior to the performance about how Avril had actually shot footage to be used in the song's music video, but she didn't like how it turned out and pulled her appearance. In 2019, Avril sang on stage with Macy Gray at an event called Chef Dance on January 26th as part of the Sundance Film Festival in Park City, Utah. Together, they performed Macy's hit song I Try, coincidentally released on Avril's 15th birthday in 1999. Avril included a cover of Beverly Hills by Weezer for the setlist for the West Coast leg of the Head Above Water tour in 2019, with Avril playing drums while the opening act, Jaguar Twin, came out to sing. And as mentioned in the last episode, Avril participated in charity covers with other artists throughout 2020 to aid relief efforts during the COVID-19 pandemic. She participated in covers of Lean On Me by Bill Withers and Let It Be by the Beatles. For more information about those covers, you can check out the previous episode about her non-album songs. And there you have it, that's every song Avril has ever covered either live or in studio. Cover songs have always been a staple of her concert set list, and I'm sure we all can't wait to see what she chooses to perform next as soon as she can get back on the road. For now, we conclude this edition of the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast. You can subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. If you enjoyed this episode, tune in next time for episode 11, where I'll discuss Avril's live performances with other artists. From performing with her hero Alanis Morissette to this generation's talent like Cassidy Pope, Avril has graced the stage with so many amazing artists. It's all coming up next time on the Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast. The Best Damn Avril Lavigne podcast is hosted, produced, and edited by Andrea DiFrancesco. Theme music is HD and Lights by J. Powell Flicks. Follow the latest podcast news on Instagram at bestdamnavrilpod or email bestdamnavrilpod@yahoo.com.